I hope this video finds you well and Happy New Year. As a sex therapist, a lot of people come to see me about improving things. And 8 out of 10 times there's something that needs to be fixed in their relationship because it's really hard to have good sex if there's resentment or anxiety present. But after that's been sorted out, it's really more about developing the habit to have regular, enjoyable, and mindful sex. Becoming better at anything is all about making new habits and hoping that they'll stick. Regardless of what habits you're trying to make, today I've got some cutting-edge ideas about how to do that, including some ideas about willpower that might even surprise you. I'm Nikki Green, a sexual marital therapist, affairs expert, and the co-founder of the Academy of Lasting Love. Would you agree that there are very few things quite as disheartening as failing at the same goal over and over again? Whether it's increasing your intimacy, eating healthier, or just finding more balance in life. Goals are usually made up of smaller steps that need to keep happening in order for the larger goal to be a success. A small step that needs to happen consistently is called a habit. New habits are things that you do, but after a while they'll become old habits, and old habits are things that you are. So if you want improvements that last, you need to create new habits and keep doing them until they become old habits. You want them to become so automatic that you don't even need to think about them. That's like the difference between making a healthy meal and being a healthy eater, or having a great shag and being a great lover. Cutting-edge research by Kelly McGonigal, author of The Willpower Instinct, says that it helps if you can begin to see the good habits that you're developing as part of your identity, rather than just a thing that you're doing in order to obtain something. That pride will help build confidence, which is also a great motivator. The first and most important thing to know when we're trying to make habits stick is that willpower is required, and willpower is a limited resource. Decision fatigue or ego depletion is what it's called when willpower gets used up. Another way to look at ego depletion is a person's diminished capacity to regulate their thoughts, feelings, and actions. So when it runs out, you just go back to doing the same things, the old way, or back to the familiar old habit that has already become you. What you need to know is that willpower is like a muscle. Consistent use will make it stronger, but overuse will exhaust it. So consistently creating lots of little habits is the best way to grow your willpower, so that you can create the bigger, more difficult habit that requires more of it. The easiest way to do this is to automate all the little things that you do on a daily basis by creating routines. The next thing to remember is, because willpower is a limited resource, just focus on creating one habit at a time, especially when trying to develop a habit that requires a lot of willpower. This will ensure that it's more likely to stick. The second tip is to commit to a schedule rather than a decision. A habit shouldn't be based on a fad or a temporary desire. There's a reason that you want to make this change in your life. Either it will afford you pleasure or it'll deliver you from pain. But often the benefits aren't felt right away, so the motivation to make the correct decision to do it every day isn't always there. Remove the likelihood of failure because you don't feel like doing it by committing the habit to a schedule. The best way to do that, according to Stanford professor B.J. Fogg, author of Tiny Habits, is to anchor it to a habit that you've already developed, that's currently being scheduled in every day. Examples that he gives are After he gets home from work, he changes out of his clothes and he puts his workout clothes on and he goes walking for 10 minutes. Or after dropping his kids at the babysitter, he hits the gym or the yoga class. Fogg also suggests that we make it easy by starting out small and building it up over time. The point is that when you're not in the mood to do it, that low level of commitment is much easier to fulfill and pretty much impossible to fail at. The third tip is commit to doing this habit daily for at least 30 days. There's much debate about how long it takes to truly anchor in a habit, but committing everything to carving out the time to do this while you're in this vulnerable early phase where decision fatigue can so easily sabotage you is crucial. Obviously, if your quest is to become a better lover, you probably won't want to have sex daily. But there are lots of other small, intimate acts like a good snog or a racy text message that can make you both a little bit hot under the collar and look forward to the date that you've got scheduled in. It's more important not to miss a day when trying to build a habit than it is to hit a specific milestone. Just as importantly, you can use the little but consistent wins to motivate you further. Tip number 4 is to plan for obstacles. These are inevitable, and to have a plan for how to deal with them if and when they arise is crucial. Typical examples include time, weather, maybe you're in pain or you don't have the space if someone's staying, or cost, or even self-consciousness. Use if-then statements in your plan. For example, if it's raining and I can't run, then I'll go swimming instead. Also, if you do slip up, don't beat yourself up. Just get right back in the saddle. The 5th tip is to create accountability for your new habit. While you might not see yourself as someone who's concerned with social approval, thanks to something called the Hawthorne effect, you're a lot more likely to follow through with a commitment when you're being observed by others. Make public declarations about your new goal, post updates on social media, and use apps like CoachMe to track your progress. Getting an accountability or workout partner is a great idea too. According to the research, simply knowing that you'll be held accountable is often enough to keep you focused and committed. Also, don't be afraid to ask those around you for help and support in making that change. My last tip is to reward your important milestones. It's great for morale to celebrate and reward the completion of your steps towards achieving your goal. It doesn't need to be big, but making it fun or pleasurable will not only give you something enjoyable to focus on short term, but it'll also link that feeling to habit creation so that it doesn't all feel like hard work. I hope this will prove helpful in your quest to be a better you, and that you'll join me in a few weeks when we take a look at the most important habits today's woman can develop to get the best out of her relationship. Until then, be good to yourself and don't forget to keep it real.